Hello everyone and welcome to Grand Prix Nashville 2012 with me, Rich Hagan, and here Mr. Ben Swartz, bringing you all the action. It is limited time, it's sealed deck, and we have Matt Oldaker against Ben Seck. So Ben Seck is going to be on your right. There is TBS. What would you say he is? Australian, American?
You know, he likes to keep his Australian heritage, but he's lived here so long.
Yeah. But you can't tell from the accent, right?
That's true.
And there is Matt Oldaker in a very nice Richard Miller-style hat.
One of the interesting things about Ben Seck is he might be one of the only people to be able to win a Grand Prix on every continent, excluding Antarctica, because he won Grand Prix South Africa.
Oh, right.
Back in the day,
like
and it doesn't sound, Cape Town. It doesn't seem like there's going to be another Grand Prix in Africa anytime soon. So, I believe he also won one in Australia. So, if he wins one here, wins one in South America, wins one in Europe, wins one in Asia, he might be
So he's live for the slam.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That's so good.
What we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So when you arrive at a Grand Prix, usually you sit down for the registration. You open all your packs, you register your deck on a deck list, and then you pass your cards to somebody else. They'll check to make sure you did it right, and then you build somebody else's pool. But what we have here is Ben Seck did that. His pool was originally registered by... Matt Oldaker did that, right? But Ben Seck decided to do the sleep-in special, which is a new thing that you're able to do at Grand Prix.
So once again, we'll tell you more of that as we go, but we are into action with a couple of swaps for Ben and a couple of planes for Matt. But this time Matt has a play, and we're going to see our first checklist card. It comes out of Dark Ascension. What's it going to be? We have no...
I think it's Loyal
Capital. Just about... There we go. So that's going to transform at some point, get some value. We see that Ben is with green, and we see the Lamphold Elder coming out, another double-face card, part of the Red Riding Hood selection. I love that little sort of flavor thing for Little Red Riding Hood going throughout the set. We see second color for Matt. It's a mountain, and that's going to be a bit of Midnight Haunting.
It's interesting. This is during his main phase that he's casting Midnight Haunting.
Yeah.
Right? Usually when you have instants like that, you want to wait until the last possible moment to cast them. Maybe trap your opponent. But see, the reason why he's doing that here is Lamphold Elder. If Matt doesn't cast a spell on his turn, will flip and turn him to the 4/5 that has a lot to fear. So Matt here is making sort of a weird play.
Yeah.
You know, an unorthodox play, but here it's the correct one.
Avacyn's Pilgrim, Blazing Torch. Ben says, alright if I equip up my Lamphold Elder? Yes, that's fine.
Looks like Matt's on this white-red deck while Ben is on a green-black deck. Geistflame will take out the Avacyn Pilgrim, unless Ben's got something to say about it.
Yeah, so no white mana there. And we've no real idea whether that is a good play for Ben or not. Sometimes you play an Avacyn's Pilgrim, partly as acceleration, but also sometimes just like, well, I'm not playing anything white at all, but you're going to find a way to kill it because you want to keep me off the white that in fact I'm not using.
But it's even more of an important play here because Ben missed his fourth land drop.
Right.
So by getting rid of the Avacyn Pilgrim, you know, he might be screwed on mana. He might not be able to cast any of his spells.
Sure. Yeah, so Avacyn's Pilgrim goes to the graveyard. And we're going to see some transform action. Because,
again, it shows here, since Ben Seck was unable to cast any of his spells, he didn't have the mana to cast any of his spells, his Lamphold Elder will transform into a Silver Pelt Werewolf.
Yep, 4/5. And if it deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. So this now comes back to the idea of needing 2 spells on a turn to transform it back into the little old lady.
So Matt gets in with his flyers, sort of whittling away at Ben's life token. Ben just sitting there. I see a Strangleroot Geist in Ben's hand, but he can't cast it because he doesn't have a second forest, a second green mana.
I mean, he's not in any grave danger right now in that he can Blazing Torch away one of them if he feels so minded.
Right, but usually in a limited format, you want to save your removal till a creature you need to use it on.
Yeah, sure.
He doesn't want to use it on one of these 1/1s. Waste a card for half of a card.
see what he just played because it's off the edge.
And then I see a number of different cards in Ben's hand that are sort of trapped. He's got a Moan of the Unhallowed, which he is unable to play because he doesn't have his 4th land, but that would be a nice sort of counter to Matt's tokens. Matt?
That's better. We get the Gargoyle, Defender of the Wall.
Warden of the Wall,
Yeah. It's an interesting card. It feels like it doesn't do any of the things it does particularly well, and yet it does enough things moderately well to be worth an inclusion in most decks.
So here's an interesting play. At the end of Matt's turn, Ben destroys the Loyal Cathar with Blazing Torch. The Loyal Cathar doesn't enter play again until the end of Ben's turn, the next end of turn step. So Ben is able to get in for 4, draw a card,
and
off our Silverpelt Werewolf.
It'll be a second forest, thanks so much.
And that'll let him cast a Kessig Recluse, which will take good care of the flyers.
Such a good card, the Kessig Recluse.
Now the Loyal Cathar comes back into play.
Unhallowed.
Yep. And now, the tables have turned. So Matt here deciding what he can do against the Reach creature in Kessig Recluse. He can no longer attack with his tokens. He can't attack with the Warden of the Wall. He can't just run his 2/1, his Unhallowed Cathar into it. He's got to find something else. And Bonds of Faith will be what will take care of the Kessig Recluse.
And that works just fine, and so in we come for
4 damage.
Some damage,
and Rally the Peasants.
Yeah, so +2/+0 for the guys. So Lamholt Elder now does come back as the little old lady. Ben's in trouble, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
And of course that Rally the Peasants sitting there in the graveyard ready for flashback.
It means that any creature from Matt will take care of Ben. I don't really see a way out of this for Ben. I see a Prey Upon in his hand so he can deal with maybe the Unhallowed Cathar, but he can't deal with those 2 flyers very easily.
Yeah.
And as I said before, any one creature will be able to take out Ben. So there he goes. He uses Prey Upon to destroy one of the 1/1 Flying Spirit tokens.
The thing is, Ben must have a plan, because otherwise why do you show that you have Prey Upon?
Yeah, he must have something. What is his something?
Oh, it's a Festerhide Ball, so it's got Morbid. Oh no, it does not have Morbid, so it's just a 3/3.
It does have Morbid, because Prey Upon took
yeah,
took out
so there we are,
Spirit.
so it's the 5/5.
But unless I'm missing something, can't Matt just flashback Rally the Peasants and kill Ben? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's what Matt ends up doing. And Matt takes the first game here.
So we now get to finish that story. So Ben Seck's on the Sleep-In Special. That means his deck gets registered by a member of the judge staff. So they go through and they alphabetize the 84 cards and so on, and then he gets to build. But generally at all these GPs, you have this little sort of dance where everyone, sometimes you have it like in Europe, they have them raise the deck box above their head. So there's like 1,200 deck boxes in the air. And it's like, pass it one round to your left, pass it another round to your left. And then it's like, you do the hokey cokey and you turn around, and that's what it's all about. And basically, everyone ends up with a different deck than the one that they registered. But occasionally, that doesn't happen, depending on quite where you're sitting. If you're on a table with an unusual number of people, and there are 3 empty chairs at the end, and it's like, so it's left, and then across, and then suddenly you find you're back with the deck that you registered. That's what happened to Matt. Matt has ended up having spent 15 extra minutes looking at this pool. And you know what it's like, Ben. You register in 10 minutes, someone takes 20, because it always takes 20, not 15. And you're like, well, I could sit there in silence, or I could look at the pool and just go, oh, I wonder if I got this back, what would I think about it? And so what Matt's done with it, as we know, he's gone red-white. Looks like there's, have we got some splash going on somewhere?
Yeah, there's a green splash.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. It looks like green splash just for Wild Hunger.
Oh, okay, because obviously that's half red anyway.
Right.
And it's a good card. +3/+1. And trample. It's kind of nice.
But But another interesting thing about Ben Seck's sleep-in special story is that he got off work in San Francisco last night.
Okay.
Wanted to get this Grand Prix, took a red-eye in, slept 3 hours on his flight, got in, registered his deck, and he's playing here today.
Here is already 2 hours later than in San Francisco, right?
Right.
So when he's getting on a plane at 9 p.m. in San Francisco, it's already 11 p.m. here.
Right.
So he kind of gets here at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Nice.
So, I mean, but an interesting thing to say is Tom Martell did the same thing last weekend. He decided to take a red-eye into Indianapolis at the last minute.
Yep.
Got 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and how do you do in that event?
He did okay. Was a little disappointed with the way the final went. Thought he could have played a little bit better, but he said, I'll win. I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, truthfully, Tom Martell was thrilled last weekend. It was something really nice to see, because some people are a bit sheepish when they win. Some people don't really know how to handle it, and Tom knew what it had taken to win, not just to win that weekend, but knew what winning was, and therefore treasured it. It was really nice to see. He was properly excited when he won,
and rightfully so.
Yeah. It was a terrific weekend, and he said, and people say this all the time because everyone bigs up their own deck. He said, I think it was 7-0. He said, so he'd only played four rounds at that point. He said, yeah, pretty sure I have the winning 75 in my hand. And it's not often, A, that it's true, but B, that you can pilot it to make it true. Even if you do have this super powerful deck. And he did. So, yeah, huge congratulations to Martell.
For sure. He's taking a break this weekend. He was unable to find a ticket at the right price to come to this event, which he's unhappy to miss.
So Ben Seck, we're talking about going right the way back to 2001, winner of a limited Grand Prix. This was Odyssey Sealed and Rochester in Cape Town, 2001. Then on home turf, as it were, Melbourne, 2002. Again, this was Onslaught block, but again, it's limited. Rochester draft, such a skill-intensive format, just crazy complicated. And then he has a Pro Tour top 8 in Yokohama the following year. Again, draft was the format, Onslaught and Legions. And that's the kind of potted history. He's been in top 8 of Nationals for Australia a couple of times as well.
He also top 16 Grand Prix Pittsburgh last year, right before Philadelphia. So here we start. Ben starts with a Highborn Ghoul.
Mm-hmm. So an Intimidate that actually will, and match by Intimidate the other way. Spectral Rider for Matt Oldaker.
Spectral Rider, I think, is a sort of risky card in this limited format. I know when it was just Innistrad, white was one of the most popular colors, so starting Spectral Rider was sort of a risky proposition, because most of the time your opponents would be playing some white creatures, and its Intimidate would not do anything, but maybe perhaps Matt boarded it in here. I think that black as a color is sort of less common, so Highborn Ghoul might be a more powerful card than Spectral Rider.
Sure. Well, the Spectral Rider is met by Deadweight to sand it packing.
And I hope Ben doesn't try to attack his Intimidate creature into the artifact creature of Matt.
It turns out Intimidate can be blocked by artifacts, as many people have discovered to their cost. Unfortunately, we have seen an absence of green again for Ben.
Yeah, he's got a number of green cards stuck in his hand. And now Matt has all 3 of his colors, his red, green, and white, and I see a Geistflame in his hand, so... But first, he'll play a Nibelus of the Mist.
Yep, Nibelus of the Mist.
Tapping down nothing, and pass the turn back to Ben. Ben, there he goes. He draws a Forest, turning him on to some of his green creatures.
The thing with the Nibelus of the Mist is that on camera, it looks like an urn in the center of the card. So you think, oh, that must be Nibelus of the Mist. But no, it is indeed the Mist. Good news for people, A, fans of Ben Seck, and B, fans of Fair Magic. The second color has arrived for Ben.
And he's able to cast his Lambolt Elder.
Yeah.
So Matt with the flyer will get in his 2 points where he can. And he's got the great defender creature and Warden of the Wall back to block. And here he'll play.
And that looks like a gold checklist card.
I think there's only one gold checklist card. But I don't see any black mana.
Okay, let's see what he's...
Oh, Hunt Master of the Fells. That's another great gold
Ta-da!
checklist card.
That was quite popular in Honolulu, it's fair to say.
I think it's,
Certain people enjoyed playing with that card through the weekend.
But definitely a force to be reckoned with in Sealed. Probably one of the cards you're most looking forward to open when you open your packs for Sealed.
See that 2/2 wolf there?
Does this have it unblockable?
It's like, if you attack with that, you can probably get to the final proposal. That's how it works. I've had so many people come up to me since Honolulu and say that possibly Kibler against Finkel was the greatest hour and a half of Magic drama they've seen. And they often talk about it in terms of drama. They don't necessarily talk about the cards that were in play or particular moments. They're just like the whole thing, because the fact of going to tape during the match, and the fact it was the two of them, the fact it was a semi-final, the fact that Paolo was waiting in the wings for the winner, just it all came together for an incredible experience, and we're very grateful for so many of you sharing it with us.
The suspense was even more for me because I watched the first 2 games and then I had to get on a plane.
Oh, no!
And I got the plane Wi-Fi. I kept trying to reload Twitch TV, and it wouldn't load.
Nope.
The internet connection wasn't good enough, so I was just like, I gave up, got off the plane, turned on my phone, immediately refreshed Twitter. I was like, Finkel lost.
Cover it live. That's what you should have been doing. You can get that on a plane.
That's true. I clearly didn't make the right decision. Here, Matt is going to choose not to cast any spells on his turn, so his Huntmaster of the Fells will flip, destroying Ben Seck's Lamphold Elder. And since Ben Seck's the active player, his Lamphold Elder's ability will go on the stack first, and then Huntmaster of the Fells. So he'll be able to kill it while it still only has 2 toughness.
Okay.
That's an interesting thing. If both players have Huntmaster of the Fells, you want to be the second one to play yours.
Okay.
In that sort of I guess, actually, you want to be the first one to play yours, but you want to be the first one to pass with playing those spells.
Right. So, although the life totals are 18 to 16, again, you start to feel that Ben's in a fair amount of bother here. Highborn Ghoul.
The wolf-bitten captive for Ben comes down.
Yeah.
The good thing for Ben, though, is he's got that Summerwald Spider, which is a 2/5, which is keeping many of Matt's creatures at bay. Actually, all of Matt's creatures at bay. But that can only buy him so much time. If Matt plays his 2 spells, flips back his Huntmaster, creates another wolf, and plays this sort of game, or if Matt plays, as he does, a Burden of Guilt on the Summerwald Spider, this gives Matt sort of an opening to start getting in for damage, which he'll do right here.
Yes, in the biggest way. There we go. Breach is open, smash.
But that shows really the power of that Summerwald Spider there, how he's able to hold even the most powerful creature in the set, I think.
2, 4 for 5, the Summerwald Spider.
And then plus more if there's Morbid.
That's right.
Ben was not able to activate this game.
4/6 is a lot bigger than 2/4. Alright. But still, the 2/4 generally deals with most fires.
This is gonna end poorly for Ben.
Oh.
Ben tried to double block to get rid of the Huntmaster of the Fells, but Matt had a Geist Flame to sort of 2-for-1 Ben. Used his 1 Geist Flame to kill both of Ben's creatures. So.
And that's the thing, when you're on the defensive, there comes a point where you're kind of obliged to just get involved and hope that there isn't a trick on the other side.
It's sort of this difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. Ben here has to play to win.
Yeah.
Matt here can play sort of not to lose, play a little bit more defensively. But that's why Ben made that risky play. The only way he can win is if he kills that Huntmaster.
Yeah. And here's a walking corpse, which is not going to do a real ton. I think this is heading towards a fairly routine victory for Matt.
Yeah. I can't really imagine what Ben might be able to draw here. Maybe if the Ravager of the Fells flips back over and Ben has like a zombie apocalypse, he can get back the Highborn Ghoul, kill the Huntmaster of the Fells, maybe have a chance.
Not looking super exciting. He's got a prey upon, he's got Sever the Bloodline, so theoretically he can take out multiple wolves at some point.
It does not look like he's got zombie apocalypse, unfortunately.
As so many people don't. And yet more cards. We're sorry they're down the bottom of the screen, so we can't see what's going on there, but
I believe that's a Midnight Guard, I want to say.
Yeah. What is certain is it's more bad news for Ben.
Midnight Guard.
See, look at
He gathers
look
the
at my
townsfolk
friend.
to get some soldiers.
I love that card.
Casting 2 cards will flip back over his raptor.
Yeah, so here comes another wolf.
Another land for Ben, and that spells the end of the game.
We're done. So well done to Matt Oldaker.
There you see him in St. Patty's Day garb.
Which it turns out to be. Apparently. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you, either Irish Magic players, of course. Big shout out to all my good friends across the